So The Athletic was hard at work last week, taking deep dives into situations gone bad. You know, it's a lot more fun to deconstruct what went wrong, and we know the Rams went wrong, and we know that the Broncos with Russell Wilson went wrong. That was the story that dropped on Friday, and it created, in one of the early paragraphs, the headline that dominated the morning, the report that Russell Wilson wanted Coach Pete Carroll and GM John Schneider to be fired by the Seahawks. Wilson promptly denied it. Look, I don't know that he ever came out and said it, but this is one of those things you don't have to come out and say. If he meets with ownership and he says, this isn't sustainable, I need a change. Well, he's not changing because he wants to live in a new city. He's not changing because he doesn't like that blue helmet. He's not changing because he doesn't like the rest of the uniform. He needs a change in approach, and we knew that was coming. He was pissed after the 2020 season, and he spoke publicly about it on Dan Patrick's show. It was clear that he wasn't happy with the way things were going with the offense, with the team. Right. So you're either going to trade me to a place where I have a new coach that will do things a way that I may be more agreeable with, or we need to do it here. That's the only alternative. The only alternative to me being traded is we need a new coach, we need a new direction, we need a new front office, we need a new everything here. So you don't come out and say fire these guys, but I wouldn't be surprised if the implication of whatever he said to ownership was the only way you're going to keep me happy is if you get a new coach and a new GM.
Yeah, I'm kind of with you in how you're explaining that. I don't know if I envision like, hey, fire these guys, but yeah, a letting of ownership know that I'd like a philosophy change, right? I don't think that doesn't shock me at all. I don't think that would shock anybody in football that conversation went on, and what that implies is it's easy to figure that out. You don't need to be a rocket scientist. He doesn't have to say those exact words to make that be known. And wouldn't be shocked that if that was the case or whatever. And, of course, Pete Carroll and John Schneider know about it, and that's why Pete Carroll enjoyed throwing zingers Russell Wilson's way this year. He probably knows that there was talks about philosophy change. I'd like to play a different way. I don't want to always have to play through the eyes of the defensive head coach. So, yeah, and I think that's why things are a little bitter and bad blood that way. You know, it didn't handle that situation totally correct, and at least in my opinion. And then, of course, you know, from what we know, things you and I know, things we discussed during the year, even before this article, he didn't necessarily handle things exactly the right way in Denver in his first year either.
Well, and that's part of what's in this deep dive, from having his own personal quarterbacks coach involved in meetings on Tuesdays that he would hold with players on the day off, and it was kind of undermining the coaching staff, his office, and all the things they did to bend over backwards for Russell Wilson. And look, if they had won, it wouldn't be an issue. Things like this become an issue when you grossly underachieve, and it's unclear who's to blame for what happened last year. As I read that article, though, they did everything they could to accommodate the way Russell Wilson wanted to have things done.
That's all they did.
Nathaniel Hackett trying to jam square peg into round hole.
Right.
So they tried to run the plays that Russell Wilson wanted to have run. And look, he got what he wanted a year later. Because what he wanted in Seattle, according to this report, was Sean Payton, who had left the Saints. And apparently Wilson hadn't been watching PFT Live, or he would have known that what Payton was trying to do to get to Miami with Tom Brady. But now he's got Sean Payton in Denver. And that's why it's no lose for Payton. If they stink, it's because Wilson stinks now. And if they win, it's because Payton found a way to turn it around for Russell Wilson. And I think that if Pete Carroll's upset about anything, it should be that Wilson didn't have the awareness to recognize how much they did to make him maybe look better than he really was. Yeah. We'll find out this year.
Yeah.
But I think they coached him in a way that covered up a lot of things that may have gotten exposed last year.
Yeah, I don't disagree with that. It's hard, like we talked about during the year, not to look at Seattle and go, wait, I didn't see them do some of these things with Russell Wilson, and think that, oh, wait, maybe it was him and why they didn't do some of these things. It was hard to not think that, or at least connect those dots, right? And then the Sean Payton thing, I don't know how serious that is, but, I mean, that shouldn't be a shock to anybody either. When the year he talked about, I don't want to be traded, but if I were going to be traded, the Saints with Sean Payton were one of those teams. I mean, obviously, he's had his eye on him. And then you add on, and Mike, I mean, you know this. I said this to you during the year. I mean, I knew too many people out there involved. I mean, the red carpet was out for him. It was whatever you wanted, Russell. They tried to make everything work for him. You heard me say, I'm watching film. I did things on social media. People open everywhere. And I'm not trying to say Nathaniel Hackett's as good as Sean Payton. I understand that. But I certainly, you know me, I'm pretty fair with my evaluations. I'd come back after games and go, damn. I mean, people are bagging on Nathaniel Hackett, and I want to say I saw like 10 guys open on third downs that the ball didn't go to. And then you add the no-nos of the football world on top of that. Your own coach in the building coaching you on how to play quarterback in an offense he doesn't know jack diddly squat about? What? That when you say that out loud, that is insane. Your own office in the building? What? Are you insane? Does Tom Brady or Peyton Manning, have they ever had an office in the building? No, and they're 20 times bigger than you and better than you. As a corporation, everything. It's insanity when you say it out loud. It really is. It's insanity.
And that's going to be the difference this year, and we saw it from the introductory press conference of Sean Payton, which happened 3 weeks ago because we reacted to it from Phoenix, our first show there. There's not going to be anybody other than our players and our staff. And Sean Payton is going to coach Russell Wilson much harder than Nathaniel Hackett did. Nathaniel Hackett tiptoed around him. Sean Payton is not going to do that, and Sean Payton's got the ability to do it because if we get into a rock, paper, scissors in Denver, Payton wins. I still am never quite sure what beats what, but Payton beats Wilson if it comes down to it. He'll be the guy who's gone, and Payton will be there to have another quarterback that he can bring in if Wilson doesn't submit and do things the way Payton wants. And maybe that's what Wilson needs. Maybe what he learned, if he's going to have any self-awareness from last year, what he learned is it can't be this way where I have everything and I'm unchecked. I need somebody to be pushing me. I need somebody to be guiding me. And I need somebody to call me out when I'm not doing what I need to do. Hi, it's Mike Florio. Thanks for watching PFT on YouTube. Hit subscribe for the latest news and analysis from Pro Football Talk.